Hey, so back to do another reaction video. I haven't seen this yet. I managed to avoid it while I was away last week, and I did see like a little snippet, but I didn't pay attention, so I'm not quite sure what's going to be going on here. I was also going to include my theory on who I think it is in this video, but based on a Facebook post that was put out last night and some other Facebook group chat and stuff like that, my theory is totally not. It's not right at all, basically. So it looks like that that they're actually actors, not magicians that are performing this. I actually thought they were magicians who'd maybe been in the competition in the past and then decided to come back with a pretty. To be honest, because the concept's amazing. If I'm being totally honest, I did see the makeup of this one, and I don't think it's as good as the makeup of the last one, maybe, but I'll see when I actually watch it. Massive thank you to everybody who watched the previous video. Like, for me, the amount of views I've had on that is the equivalent to like 1 billion views to me. So so thank you very much for giving it a thumbs up, thumbs down, and commenting on it. Really appreciate it. And also for subscribing as well. It's got me quite a few subscribers. I know I've only got like 30 odd subscribers, but I appreciate each and every one of you. So yeah, so let's crack on with the video. Like I said, I've not seen this. It's going to be interesting to see what direction they go. And then maybe I'll touch on some gossip. That's not gossip because it was posted on Facebook by someone who does Britain's Got Talent. So, but they didn't really mention too much. But you can kind of figure it out a little bit from what they say. So let's see how this goes. The way they build the suspense on this is really good. They seem to give this act more suspense than any others, but I don't know if that's because some of the other acts don't have any suspense. If that makes sense. Oh, the makeup looks a bit better than I thought it did.
To a land of fear, my darlings. The time's to play.
We should have known it's actors and not magicians, because I don't think magicians can act this good unless you're like, yeah, magicians can't act this good. Orson Welles, maybe, I don't know. Oh, Harry Anderson as well. He's a good actor and a good magician. I like this because all you have to you stare at anyone long enough and it makes everyone feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna get an ad in 4 seconds. That's insane. Even if you're not in full makeup and you stare at someone from on stage or off stage, if you're in a close group, you just feel awkward. it's just a fact. But with the makeup as well, it just freaks you out. It freaks you out a lot. It freaked me out. Whenever I see box as well, I think of 7. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Your deepest, darkest fears, you see. You reach into the box and take what's inside.
I suppose because the type of act it is, they can do a lot more angle cuts and give it a lot more time, maybe. It does go back and forth nicely between Amanda and the witch.
A premonition. Which fear will we meet tonight? A look into the future of the choices made, destiny or chance. But which will you choose? You'll have nightmares inside, pray tell.
Just the look and the acting's absolutely brilliant on this.
I'm scared of a tape one.
Fate has brought us to a place in your soul that no one could know.
I mean, judging this on the magic,
Or could they?
the 2 effects that are on show, or the 1 effect, as a whole, is probably pretty standard. In respect, it'd be something you could easily just go out and buy from a magic shop or jump on eBay and grab one off eBay. But what they've done is they've just redesigned it to give it the look that fits in with the character, which a lot of magicians don't do. They'll take the prop and they'll use the prop as it is stock, and then it doesn't fit with your costume, your character. Whereas with this, they've realised that if they just change the props to fit the mood and fit the scene, it just adds an entirely different level to anybody's act, to be honest. It makes you almost forget for a minute that it's a magic trick and it might be, you know, just theatre and witchery.
Such a strong name, but you stink of fear.
Well, by the way, if I may so, you don't smell great yourself. At least I use soap. What am I supposed to do now?
Check out the ads.
Do what? Losing the phone number of my plastic surgeon.
What does it say, Simon?
David has just signed a 10-year contract. No, maggots.
You see, it's interesting this time around because they've been a lot more jokey and having a lot more fun with it than last time. I mean, they might have been doing this on the last performance, but edited it all out, whereas they've kept it in for this performance, maybe.
Pretty.
I'm not sure.
Here is where it all ends, because tonight
I suppose it always depends on filling airtime.
your choice.
The only thing that's left me slightly confused is the
Oh, God.
picking of the first one and then putting it in the box, if I remember that rightly. I suppose it was to show that the box was empty without showing the box is empty and having just letters in there, maybe. I suppose you pick Amanda because she's going to give you the bigger reaction. It's always interesting using animals in Magic as well because people genuinely care for animals' well-being, so you have to handle them very carefully. A lot of animals in shows are treated very well, to be honest. So yeah, if you look after your doves, or your rabbits, or your rats in this case, they're going to last you a long time, and they become more trained and prepared and stuff. Let's see what this is. This is going to vanish. Kind of feel like the Vanish should have been a production, maybe. For me, personally, the Vanish is a bit... It adds to the theatre, so if you're saying it's not a magician, it's an actor performing it, then that's pretty cool. But I think that's how the Witch should have appeared on, and then gone from there. So, what are my thoughts? Again, the concept is brilliant. I think... So my understanding with this is that you'll probably see the witches go on tour and it'll just be different people all the time, and that's the perfect dynamic of this. And I think from a Facebook post that I read, the person who did the first one didn't show up for the second one, basically, so they had to replace them, and that's why it became the witches conjure up more spooky spells as opposed to the witch comes back, or the witch 2. But yeah, overall it's level, it's very basic, and I think you're picking Amanda because she gives you the biggest reaction, so it draws people in even more, and you're more kind of seeing how she's reacting because she's a bit over the top. But then, having said that, it's just I've done a dove act before, and the dove has freaked someone out because they're scared of birds. So it just happens. It really does scare people. Never seen it with rabbits. I used to use a rabbit as well in my kids' shows, and that was never an issue. I just stopped using animals because it's hard work, and people are always questioning how well they're looked after. And in summer, it's just not fair. If I'm being totally honest, if you can't accommodate properly for the animal when you're transporting it, if you're driving an hour and a half, 2 hours and it's in a little cage, and it's just getting too warm. It's not too bad now because you've got air conditioning and stuff in cars, but I didn't in my van at that time. So you used to have to have like a fan and stuff like that to cool that, to keep the animal comfortable. So you've got to think about all this stuff when you're performing with live animals. And the way he's walking around with the rat as well was a bit like, the rat obviously wants to run off and is not really fancying being handled, and you're running around with it. Might freak it out a little bit. I'm normally down with animal magic, to be honest, so that's fine. But I think you have to be super careful when using an animal to scare someone, like in this instance. Because if it's their fear, you don't know how they're going to react. And it's fight or flight. So they're either going to run away, which is fine, or they might attack. So, which is very, very scary if they're going to start wailing their arms. I saw it at a live show where magician produced I think it were a parrot or a cockatoo. I can't remember now. And it flew out over the audience and came back. And as it flew out, some guy tried to grab it. It's like, what are you doing? Why would you even attempt to grab something like that while it's flying around? It were a big parrot as well. From I can't remember say whether it was a parrot or a cockatoo. I think it were a cockatoo, but it were massive, and like what are you gonna achieve by grabbing it? So then that's when you have to be careful when using live animals in magic and stuff. Again, I think it's really good. The entire concept, the magic is basic. But Paul Daniels said that. Paul Daniels said he made his entire living out of doing the magic that no one wants to do and turns the nose up at. And I'm kind of like that all the time, to the point where I don't do certain magic because I think, as harsh as I'm not saying I'm amazing, but I feel like that magic's at a level that's doesn't fit with my style and feel a bit beneath me. But then it's all the stuff that blows up on TikTok. It's all the stuff that blows up on YouTube. So every so often I think, should I just sell out? But then it's not selling out. It could, because the idea of doing magic is to entertain your audience and leave them mystified and just a bit of escapism for a while. So just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not good. It's a good reason not to do stuff though if you don't like it, because you can never perform it as good as someone else. But I think that what that proves there is that it's not just the tricks, it's the theatre and the thought and everything that goes into it, the lighting, the sound. I mean, they even mentioned smell. I think that was just a dig, but I've always thought that smell's a big part of performing. Whether you can be overpowering, if you're doing close, you can be overpowering with deodorants and smellies and stuff like that, or you can stink sweat. So both are bad. Like if your odor's too powerful, it puts people off. I think you come across a bit arrogant without being arrogant, maybe, or a bit Dom Johnny, maybe, I don't know. And then if you've got bad odor issues, which just happens because you're performing non-stop for hours, so you have to keep an eye on it or a nose on it. Then yeah, if you've got bad odor issues, that's terrible, because people are probably going to talk about that more than anything else. So like I said, smell, lighting, sound, props, it's all important. All plays into the act of theatre. And I think for something like Britain's Got Talent, it is really good. If it is what I've seen on Facebook and stuff, it means that this act's been put together solely for Britain's Got Talent, and maybe with the idea of taking it on tour, which I suppose Britain's Got Talent is now that jumping ground for people to make a career. So from my understanding, I'd say this has been put together by a production crew. And I kind of think the same with the Phantom, the Invisible Magician. That does it the wrong way around. You see, what they've done is they've taken good or decent tricks and illusions and technology. I haven't seen the second one, by the way. And they've taken the magician out of it, and it shows that good magic without the character there just becomes crap. And this shows that, I won't say crap magic, but what a lot of magicians would say, basic stuff. Put the character in there, put the artisticness in there, the art, the performance, the drama, the presentation becomes next level, becomes something that people haven't actually seen before. So I think it's really important. I feel like I'm rambling a lot, but on stuff like this, I was well, we all have our own opinions on stuff, but stuff like this, I think it's good to like dissect it, but to break it down without revealing what's actually going on. Like when she's putting her hand in the box, I understand that now. She put her hand in the box to give the impression of it not being not being so the nothing being there without actually showing. Which is like the opposite of movies. They always say like show don't tell, but in magic it's tell don't show. But I suppose it should be the other way around. But then that's the part of misdirection illusion. You don't remember things perfectly. So when you show something pretty decent, and then they talk to other people about it, Chinese whispers makes it way better than it actually is, which is always a good thing. So in that instance, with that you're thinking, oh, the box is just full of paper, or it's empty because she's already put her hand in it, and then the rat appears at the end. I think they could have probably used a better box maybe, and then but the bag again, it's just keeping it simple, but keeping the artistry there, keeping the drama and everything. Makes it really good, and it was quite a long video. That was like 8 minutes long or something, and it keeps your attention. And like I said, I don't know if that's because of the way they edit, because they can edit it more like a TV series, less than Magic's really difficult to edit on TV unless you've got a crew that understands how something works and how to get the best angles to get the best reaction, and then the key points on where to cut the actual performance to make it so that you can see the audience reaction, you get the full effect, and it doesn't make it look like camera tricks. That's really difficult. Whereas with that, there's not a lot going on. It is all drama, suspense, and the trick's kind of secondary to it, but it does add that extra element. Like I said, the illusion at the end, I love illusions. I just think maybe the beginning should have been a production and not a vanish like that, because it just seemed, for me, it seemed too obvious the illusion, so they maybe should have put a different illusion in for the vanish if they wanted to make them vanish that way. I mean, there are some really good illusions out there, and you just never. And when I say out there, I mean they're in books and like old publications, or even fairly new, early 2000s, and you just never see them built. Everybody's still using stuff from like the 20s, and I'm not about 2020s. I'm not about like 1920s. People still using props from 1950s, and probably some of the best illusions ever made are from like the 70s and 80s, which is madness. It is madness to say there's so much more new stuff out there. Everybody's still using. I suppose what happens is something becomes a classic for a reason. But yeah, I feel like I can already think of maybe like 5 illusions that are better. Like for instance, but maybe this takes it too far. So you could do a human sacrifice, and the witch comes out of the stomach of someone, there, and that could be anyone. So that'd be a cool production. For the vanish, yeah, actually I don't know. It's because you're trying to think about it. How could someone who's not a magician or an illusionist and used to handling those types of props be able to learn something within a couple of days and perform it? That's the difficult part, because learning lines and being directed on how to act and what to do, that's if you're a decent actor, you can improvise, and that's kind of, you're going to know all that stuff, because that's going to be the core of your development. And if the magic's self-working, kind of like that is, then you don't have to put too much thought into that. Whereas if you was doing, like I said, the human sacrifice production, there's a little bit more to it, and then that'd be the same with a good vanish. Maybe I'm wrong about the vanish. Maybe it works perfect for that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what would be a better vanish. Guillotine, chop the witch's head off. Although you've got to come back for next season, but that'd tie into the next one, because then you could be a talking head at the beginning and then produce something. Yeah, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Thanks for watching. If you've made it to the end and you've got past all my ramblings, I'm going to edit a lot of them out, but if you've made it to the end, thanks for staying. Pop something in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, either on the video or on the actual Britain's Got Talent, or this season as a whole, because I'm not watching Britain's Got Talent. I've seen 1 or 2 acts just by chance, and then I've mainly just been watching the magic. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. By all means, subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. Thanks for everyone who has subscribed from watching the previous video. Have a good one, everybody. See you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.